Should we be seeing more out of black leadership when it comes to speaking out on behalf of the people of Ukraine?
Well, first of all, as a veteran, I do believe that we have responsibility to be humanitarian. At the same time, the nerve of anybody to think that Black people have not done enough. We have done everything to fight for everybody, but yet we don't fight for ourselves. How much energy do we want someone to have in one day, Dale? I ask you, if I have 8 to 10 hours a day, we're fighting in the war right here, the battleground right here, and our government's not listening. So, how is anybody supposed to be motivated to say, hey, yeah, just go protest when they're protesting here and still nothing happens as far as policy? So I'm supposed to protest here, not get anything done, protest on what's going on 6,000 miles away, knowing nothing's not going to get done, and still deal with the fact that I can't afford to feed my family. It makes no sense. It is disrespectful to say that, well, Black people should be doing more. We have done enough. When is this country going to issue the same amount of money, the same amount of investment without a study? When is this country going to do the same amount of urgency without saying, well, we got to wait to get everybody on the same page and we don't want executive orders? The nerve of anybody to put that on the backs of Black people who have not only fought for our own people, but have fought for everybody else all over this country for the last 400 years and built this country. So right now, people are depressed, Dale, and they're not interested in doing yet another thing to add to their day. And it's not because we don't care. It is because people are worn out. The same thing that Martin Luther King talked about in the 60s, we're still talking about it today. So if this government will give somebody the same boots and straps that they send into another country, maybe then they'll have the energy to fight for someone else. But we cannot put it on us, and we will not victim blame or shame Black people for
I'll
what's
push
happening.
back. You have to admit, I remember the Black Lives Matter protest. I remember seeing people marching in the streets of Germany, in Belgium, in Europe, in Paris, everywhere else about the death of a black man. I don't see that level of anger in Black America, even with the instances that we're talking about where Black people and brown people are having a difficult time getting out of Ukraine. I still don't see that level of support coming from Black America.
Yeah. Guess what? And you want to know why I'm glad you pushed back to say that, because the people that you saw, I was in those marches, as you know. And guess what? Those marches did not produce policy. There were protests, there were screaming, crying, begging. Even when we look at what happened with our Haitian brothers and sisters who were getting whipped at the border. Right now, Black America feels like protests for what? So I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, when policy does not derive from that, why do we put it on Black Americans to say, hey, go fight for our sisters and brothers over in Ukraine, when right now we're fighting here and they don't hear our call here? So is it fair to continue to put the burden on us, or should we put the burden on the government to say, why don't you deliver something sometime, and then it won't be as hard to get people to protest? I believe in certain things. Punishment. We need criminal punishment. We also need policy. We need protests, and we need to sue folks and get the paper. All of those things is what brings change. And the problem has been people do not feel that the protests matter. So why should someone take off work again when they did it right here and did not get a result? So we cannot put that ownership on Black America. The ownership is on the government that is sending billions of dollars over to other countries. They're getting all the help we need. Because to be honest with you, the protest is helpful, but we really need the dollar, Dale. If we really want to talk about it, the government is sending billions of dollars over to Ukraine, our tax dollars. We have no problem with that solidarity, but the question will still be asked, what about what's going on at home? And so when the government says, hey, pull yourself up by the bootstraps to Americans, but then sends boots and straps, literally straps, weapons to other countries, there is some resentment there. So tonight, I'm going to be looking to see, how will those issues be addressed? We cannot continue to tell Black America that they have no funds when it comes to obviously canceling student debt, reparations, HR 40 still sitting there to be quote unquote studied, all of these different things that are concerning to Black Americans, homelessness, the list goes on and on coming out of COVID. And so we're going to see, how that will be addressed.